Hello and welcome back to Tales Between Old Friends. I'm Devin, your host and fellow pet lover and dog mama. This is Billy, our producer and dog dad. And we have Dr. Erin Brown, co-founder of Heartstrings Pet Hospice, with us again. Hi, Dr. Erin. Hi, Billy.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, hello. Before we share some stories today, we need to give a shout out to our sponsor, Heartstrings Pet Hospice. Saying goodbye to a pet is one of the hardest things we face. Heartstrings Pet Hospice believes every pet deserves compassion, dignity, and respect in their final days. With in-home hospice care and peaceful euthanasia, Heartstrings helps pets and their families through this journey with love and support, right where they're most comfortable. Because everybody's goodbye should be filled with kindness and care. Heartstrings Pet Hospice. Compassion, dignity, respect. You guys ready for some stories?
Of course.
Let's do this.
Our first story comes from Flimsy Ratio 1450. Dog sleeps on first floor during the night. I adopted a Shepherd Husky mix 2 years ago from a native reservation where he was tied to a cardboard box outside. He's almost 3 years old and is the best dog. Loyal, smart, attentive, kind. We just moved into a 3-level house and he refuses to sleep on his dog bed in our bedroom anymore. We have a second dog. They get along great. She's always sleeping in our bed. What's the deal? My family jokes he's probably a tiny bit wolf, so it makes sense that he's doing his own thing. Mainly curious for the reasoning behind this. Thanks.
Oh.
He's a dog. I mean, they're just like cats. They're mysterious, you know?
Yeah. They like what they like, and they don't like what they don't like. Yeah. Whether that's part of because of his history or it's just preferences.
I want to go that he's a bit wolf or something, and he just likes to sleep on hard surfaces. And maybe you should be careful leaving him out of a crate at full moon.
It was dangerous.
Yeah.
Never know what's gonna happen. Is it Jacob from Twilight?
I feel like that's more insulting to the wolf.
Ooh. Oh, goodness. Back to dog preferences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't know. I've had many,
sleeping...
patients that, like, their family will be like, I have 5 beds in this home for this dog, and he chooses to sleep on the kitchen floor or whatever. You know.
Charlotte destroyed the one I put in her crate, so now she just gets a blanket because she has separation anxiety, especially at my mom's house, like when we go visit, and she just destroys the blanket. So I just go buy $3 blankets from Walmart, throw it in there, and if she destroys it, I got another one.
Yeah.
I can't put a bed in there.
Yeah. I did the same thing with Goodwill blankets for our Beagle back in the day.
Ooh, good call. Savannah was a diva. She had to sleep on pillows. Like, there are so many pictures of her with her paws outstretched, like, look at me, I'm on a pillow, and I'm a princess, and you need to bow down to me, you measly peasant.
So that's why she was your dog, and you're her person. That makes so much sense.
My girl.
Yep. I was just going to say that we have friends that have a dog like that. If you try and make it comfortable in their little area, they'll tear up anything that makes it comfortable. They'll remove the blanket. They'll do all of that just to be back on the hard floor. So I think some dogs, if this dog was like left out and is used to sleeping on a harder surface, it would make sense that that's their like form of comfort.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can understand that. Our next story comes from Jamno Jelly ACNH, and it's titled Gifts. I have a friend whose dog is about 12 years old. His dog seems really sick, and it seems like he may have to say goodbye soon. I want to get him something to remember his dog by. Is this a good idea? Also, any ideas of what I should get him? I don't have a pet, but loss of your best friend of 12 plus years has got to be incredibly difficult to deal with. Any advice on how to help would be appreciated.
I got one great example up there. That was Crosby as like a what is he? A dwarf from Lord of the Rings.
Aww, I love that.
We did one of those with Gibson for He's like an astronaut.
Oh,
They take like
nice.
the face and put it on like a
Mhm.
some kind of profession's body.
Yeah, yeah. It's
My
just
brother and his
cute.
husband have the dogs as like royalty, so they have the rough collars and
Yeah.
that's on brand for them. You've met Ross and Eric. I mean, we showed up
Yeah.
to the Halloween party as royalty, so
Right. Totally tracks. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Like people make like felt miniatures of pets, and I've had like even like a friend of mine. Well, after Crosby passed, she got me like this little like kind of stained glass window type thing, but the frame around it is like a moon, and it's got two little silhouettes of a beagle and a little Shih Tzu, and so like as soon as I opened it, I just started bawling. So, but it's just super sweet and thoughtful, and I wasn't expecting it. So I think anything is really nice and thoughtful.
Mom got me the same crescent moon and it's rainbow, and it has
Yes.
Savannah and it has her name. And I need to figure out where I'm going to put it. And then she surprised me with a custom urn. My cousin's a woodworker, and I was very upset with the urn that I got when Savannah passed. And it was out of my control. I didn't have a choice. And like I said, she was a diva, and I wanted something pretty that spoke her. So my cousin's a woodworker, and he made this beautiful urn and laser engraved her face on it with her birthday and her name and everything. And it's my favorite thing. And then the other thing I got, well, my brother got me a little heart pendant that I haven't taken off in 19 months. And it has her ashes in it. But the big thing I got is 4 of my close friends from TikTok got together, and they had all of my favorite photos of Savannah, and picked 7 of them and put them on a canvas in the shape of a dog. And it was me and Savannah. And it's this beautiful, amazing artwork that my now boyfriend flew with to Atlanta and surprised me with. And we had to FaceTime all the people, but he pulled this off behind my back, and I'm like, you're going to make me cry. He's like, that's not difficult. You cry over everything. But
Awesome.
it's one of my favorite gifts.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can do. I mean, even just sending flowers. I had patients bring flowers because they knew how much Savannah meant to me. They sent flowers to the office. They sent sympathy cards, all sorts of things just to say they were thinking about me because they knew how much she meant to me. And I didn't even tell them that I lost her. I guess my coworkers did. But I think it's just the thought.
Yeah.
All right. We've come to the time in our podcast where we are going to talk with Dr. Erin. I'm so excited. Hi, Dr. Erin.
Hi.
Well, let's talk about in-home euthanasia. We've gone over hospice care, telehospice, why you started this company, and now I want to talk about in-home euthanasia and what that looks like for the families that you help. And, let's see what that looks like. So, how does in-home euthanasia provide a more peaceful experience for both pets and their families?
Yeah, so in-home euthanasia, well, let's talk about euthanasia first off. It's hard enough as it is. And if we're able to plan it out, because certainly sometimes life doesn't let us. So if we're able to plan it out, why not plan it at home, where the pet and where we're most comfortable? We can have as many people over as you want, friends, family, other pets. And you can play music, you can have it be silent. There's not weird smells, weird sounds. There's no cold, sterile table. It's just so much more comfortable. And you don't feel like you're being rushed, which is another big thing. In clinics, we're trying to, help as many families as you can, and you have to clear the room. And sometimes that means you're rushing, and euthanasia is not a time to rush. This is not time that we can get back, so just being able to do it at home at our own pace around people that we love, other pets that we love, and comfortable things. I've been so many homes too where you walk in and you just smell bacon, or steak. And you're like, oh, this dog has had a great meal today, and it's just wonderful. So, why make it harder than it already is? Let's if we're able to plan it out, let's do it at home. It's just much more peaceful, much more comfortable.
So what do you think some of the emotional benefits of saying goodbye to a pet in the comfort of their home is?
Yeah. So I feel like, when you're in a clinic setting in an exam room, there's certainly hospitals that will make a comfort room with a couch and, plants, and it'll be nice and comfortable. It's still not home. So emotionally, you're kind of reserved. You're trying to hold it in. You're trying to keep yourself together. Then you have to think about, I have to drive myself back home. And that's a hard thing to think about, especially when you're leaving without your pet. And so emotionally at home, it's just, you're able to kind of cry as much as you want to cry. All of us doctors have seen a lot and a lot of different ways that people grieve, and it doesn't bother us at all. We're used to it. And so I think you being able to express yourself and how your body is kind of telling you to express yourself is beneficial as far as the grief process. And I think also you can kind of make that experience what you want it to be more so than you could in a clinic setting. Like I said, with, music or smells, like lighting a candle, having bacon smell, or, whatever it is most comfortable, most at home, most special. There can also be, some kind of religious ceremony that you can do, whether that's, saying a prayer or doing some kind of, special treatment or chanting or, whatever. You're able to do that at home. And I think emotionally that just helps us process this a little bit easier, I guess, and is a okay way to put it. No, it's not easy, but it just makes it a little bit lighter.
I know when I had to say goodbye to Savannah, we did a little art project, and then afterwards, we had incense burning. We FaceTimed my mom, and it was me and my brother and his husband in my kitchen. And then after everything was over, we did a champagne toast, because that's how I live my life.
Yes,
and it was exactly what I wanted. That's where my brain goes back to, and it was perfect. But I didn't want to walk into a vet with my dog and leave with nothing. And I'm not a pretty crier. Like, it's very dramatic. Nobody needed to see that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got to do it in my own home.
Yeah. I've had families, unfortunate part of grief is anxiety. And I've had, family members go into full panic attacks. And I mean, those are hard enough as it is. I've had them myself. You don't want to have that out in public in a strange place, like you'd rather just be at home and having to rush to the bathroom to throw up or grabbing a bucket or, whatever you got to do, but you're at home. And so I think whatever your mind does, your body feels, you can allow that to happen at home versus trying to keep it all in and compartmentalize, but also, shut down almost emotionally when you're at a clinic versus at home.
Yeah. Well, speaking of anxiety, how does an at-home setting reduce stress and anxiety for pets in their final moments?
Oh my gosh, it's so much better. It's so much less stressful because you think about, dog or cat, getting them in a car or getting them in a crate and then in the car, then that drive, then, getting to the hospital. A lot of times pets will know where they are as soon as you pull up. Whether they recognize something visually or it smells, and then they just start shaking. And so that adrenaline, that anxiety is just skyrocketing already. And one, that's just not something you want anyone, pet, human, otherwise, to experience in their last moments of life. But it's going to honestly negatively affect our sedation. Because if their adrenaline's pumped up, then our sedation is going to take a little bit longer to work. So it's just not as smooth or as peaceful as we'd wanted anyways. So that stress, I mean, it does a lot to their bodies. It does a lot to our bodies. So at home, it just takes all of those horrible variables out, and they're able to just be at home, be comfortable, be in their bed, be in the owner's bed, be in their favorite, spot outside. I had a dog that her favorite spot was under their deck. And so that's where we were. And she was happy there. She was content. And, I think even us, as humans would want to say something like that, where they could be, in their favorite place in their last moments. I mean, how beautiful is that? So, taking all those kind of unfamiliar things or scary things that they don't like anyways out of the equation, it just makes for a much more stress-free, anxiety-free experience for the pet.
You're so amazing. You're such a great doctor.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
I mean it. I mean, I've seen you at work. You've helped my mom a couple times, and I feel like you're a magical person, and you go above and beyond for these families. And I mean, climbing under a deck to euthanize a dog is, above and beyond, or well, below and beyond. What?
It just felt like the right thing to do, and I think that's part of what we try to do at Heartstrings as our mission is the service, and we just do the best we can. And then we'll go wherever the pet is. And if that's under deck, that's where we are. If it's in a bathroom, that's where I'll go. If it's in a closet, I'll go there too. Wherever is fine.
That's awesome. In what ways does in-home euthanasia allow for a more personalized and meaningful farewell?
Yeah, so we kind of touched on this a little bit where, you can really make this experience what you want. As the doctor coming in, we want to come in as a friend and not necessarily that whole medical, scary white coat person. But we will be flexible and do, whatever we can to help make it personal and make it comfortable. And so for the family, if that's special music, if that's showing slideshows, I've had families do almost like whole PowerPoint presentation.
Really?
Yeah, sharing memories, and I love it. I eat that up. I think it's so cool and beautiful, and just honors that pet and the family and the bond. Or having like a meal. Just recently, Dr. Falks from Knoxville and I were at a family's house, and they were like, "It's supper time. We're gonna feed you." They set us dinner.
Oh, wow.
Like insane, but so lovely and so beautiful. And you can just kind of make it what you want. And if that is also, having a whole, ceremony, having, family in the home and on Zoom or video call, and then everyone's sharing stories, someone saying a prayer, lighting candles, whatever. It's a beautiful thing. You can make it what you want. And I think that makes the process a little bit, easier to process the process, but also, makes that kind of that relationship, that bond that you've had with that pet. It's been, this whole life, this whole process, this whole story you've had together, and it makes it a beautiful ending. And I think that's what we all want for our pets and for ourselves, to celebrate life, to celebrate the family, the togetherness, and then kind of end it on a beautiful note where we're respecting them, we're giving them that empathy, that compassion, that dignity. What a way to end. It's beautiful.
You're gonna get me to cry a little bit, getting emotional over here, which is not out of the ordinary, but
it's sad stuff. It's okay.
It's just the way that you talk about the different things that you've witnessed and experienced, and your passion behind it. It's just, you're a special person with what you do, and you can hear your passion in your voice, and it sounds like you're definitely in the right career. You're doing the right thing for you.
I agree. I love it. I'm very passionate about it, which is, sometimes sounds weird when you think about what we do, but I just think it's really important. And especially as a vet, it's a big part of our job. And I feel very lucky and blessed that I can focus on this.
I mean, I don't think it's weird. You have different specialties with human doctors. Why not have different specialties with veterinarians as well? And, this is a great service that you provide that you are passionate about. I wouldn't want somebody that wasn't passionate about their job coming to my home and euthanizing my pet. I wouldn't want that.
Right.
I want somebody that's gonna have the empathy and the kindness and just kind of act like they know exactly what I'm going through, whether they have a pet or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does having a veterinarian come to your home provide additional support for grieving families?
Yeah, so I think it adds a lot of confirmation. We can come in and have, conversation about what their pet has been experiencing, what, they were diagnosed with, what, end of life for that particular, disease process, cancer, whatever looks like, and then why we want to avoid that, why we want to prevent that suffering. So I think that helps add confirmation that the family's making the right choice for their pet. And if, we come in as a vet and hear the story, hear about what's been going on, and we're like, actually, let's try this, then we can talk about hospice. We can talk about, pain meds, nutrition, mobility things, all this other stuff. So while I wish that happened more often than not, it does happen. So I think families knowing that a vet is going to come into their home and be honest and with their observation, with their experiences and treating so many pets over the years, and kind of relaying that to the family helps with kind of facing, what's in front of them, what their pet is experiencing, accepting, this is only going in one direction. And then also accepting that we're really giving a gift and we are preventing suffering. And so I think that all just comes together and helps that grief process, just kind of move things along and keeps you going. Because, you don't want to be stuck in it forever. You want to be able to process and work through it. So having that professional there who has the experience, has the knowledge, answers whatever questions you have, pet related, not human related, but it's, it just adds that little bit of, relief or comfort in knowing that you're doing the right thing.
Thank you, Dr. Erin. You are so knowledgeable and passionate and amazing. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing all of this with us because I learn something different every single time. And I think, a lot of people don't know that this kind of service exists. And I think it's important that, we discuss it. A lot of people are afraid to talk about end of life stuff for humans. And I think that is something that is very important that we should talk about at a very early age, for personal reasons. But, I think it's wonderful that we can go ahead and start planning this kind of stuff for our pets because they're not there as long as our humans are. So I appreciate all you do. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. We're happy to do it. Happy to help.
Our third and final story comes from Remote Reward 3236. Help! How do I make my roommate's cat not hate me? I moved into my new place a week ago, and every time I walk down the hall to the bathroom or go downstairs, my roommate's cat hisses and swipes at my feet. The room that I moved into used to have his litter box and cat tree in it, so I'm wondering if it's a territorial thing. What do you guys think?
I mean, have you tried hissing and swiping back?
Speaking their language.
Assert dominance, and maybe that will work. I don't know. Probably not. Because the last animal on Earth that I would want to get into a turf war with is a cat, because they know how dogs may do some crazy stuff like tear up a pillow or something, but cats know psychological warfare. They're professionals at that, so
they will mess you up,
make you cry.
Maybe he should get some cat wine. And give the cat wine because I hear it's beets and catnip in liquid form and it makes cats crazy, but it might make him fall in love with him.
Right. I think you have to give the appropriate offerings to the cats, and whether that's cat wine Catnip. Cat grass.
Sacrificial offerings?
If the cat wants that, maybe we need to start bringing the mice, the dead mice, dead lizards, dead birds to the cat.
Perfect.
And be like, I am one with you.
Brought you a treat.
Right. I think it also like does come down to do things that the cat likes and with the cat, whether that's playing with it, doing the laser pointer, feather toys, be the food lady or food man, because when they like the person that gives them food, so give them food.
Absolutely. Get special treats. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I've told people in the past when there's been like pets that, you're either in a roommate situation or you're joining a relationship and they have a prior pet, get some smelly treats that are just from you and only you can give that to them.
Yeah, that's great.
By their love. I mean, I've done it with kids.
All right.
Look, you don't like me? Here, I got your favorite candy from Aunt Deb or Aunt Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem buying affection.
Right. I do that with my husband sometimes.
Great.
Right. It works for everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
But it probably, just saying that it probably does make Sean Brown stop pissing at you, so.
A bit. Yeah, a bit.
That's good. How to train your husband. I mean, cat.
Right.
The smelly treat.
Side note.
Thank you. Thank you for our TED Talk. We've fixed the world and we didn't even know it.
Didn't know it.
Who runs the world? Squirrels. Oh, women. What?
Or dogs. Or cats.
Dogs.
Probably cats.
So that is all I have story-wise today. Thank you both for joining me. It was a good time. I think we shared some great stuff. Dr. Erin, your knowledge is far better than mine on anything pet care, which I think is fantastic.
Happy to help and provide knowledge.
If you want to talk optical, I got you.
Yeah, that's not me.
That's all we have today. You guys, thank you for checking in again with us at Tales Between Old Friends. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars if you like what you hear. And if you have any fun stories, don't hesitate to go to our Instagram or Facebook and send us some stories. We would love them. Yeah, that's it. Make sure you say hi to all your pets from the 3 of us and have a great day.